They're like, oh yeah, guy with Pepsi Steam comes in every once in a while. They're not really much to really test the LED in the headlight, but we'll take this.
Known quite well by all. She's the regular combination. She's a Wabash cannonball.
Proceed to 15. Hello everybody, this is Pensy Joe back again for another TCS WOW install or DCC installation series video. And today I have a customer request install. So without further ado, we'll get into the install and I'll give you some more details about it. Alrighty, so we got a Paragon 2 Broadway Limited K4s locomotive. This is a post-war locomotive. And unfortunately, it looks like when this locomotive got shoved in here, it looks like the pilot plate got a little bit messed up. That's not good. Yeah, I don't know what happened, but when I opened this box, the locomotive was like smashed up in front of here. So we'll see what I can do. I might try to re-glue it using some plastic cement that I have over here. Though I am rather disappointed that, you know, this happened to this nice, beautiful model. I mean, that is just a shame. So, yeah, if you're watching this video, the customer for this, this was not my doing right here. It looks like that when they were shipping this model, it was shifting around in here and that front plate got messed up, I guess. And I'm sorry to say that happened. I will see what I can do to fix that. It shouldn't be much of a problem, if any at all. So I'll make sure that it looks nice and good again, and I'll see if I can put some, you know, protection in front of here so that it, you know, if the model does bounce around in here, it doesn't just smash, you know, this as well. So anywho, let's get into this DCC install. I got the tender already out. And we got the locomotive right here. It's got a die-cast boiler, which is wonderful. Unlike the predecessor from Paragon 1, it does not have painted pilot wheels. So I did not get a request to paint the pilot wheels on this. I do have black paint over there, but it was not part of the request for this DCC install. Plus, you know, it's not hard to paint wheels, guys. If you've seen my custom locomotive video, well, it's not the prettiest thing in the world, but it's definitely one of those really good practice videos, especially on a model that's old, and, you know, I can always improve over time by painting over it again, or, you know, stripping the paint at some point. But yeah, we're doing a TCS WOW install on this video, on this model. This is K4 number 2032. And K4s came in a lot of different, you know, numbers. It wasn't just like one specific, you know, line of numbers. Yeah, I almost don't want to yank that out, as that sucks. But anywho, of course it comes with, you know, spare wheels. It's got traction tires, which is looks like whoever owned this last didn't painted this gray. Which, not sure why. Kind of a bummer. But, yeah. I mean, there's no other spare parts. We got the decoder right here. I got some speakers over here. So, the reason why I have these speakers over here is in case these speakers need to be replaced so they can handle 1 watt. And these are 1 watt speakers. Sometimes Broadway engines, even though I do TCS WOWs, they do this, like, sound or whatever. I hardwire these fine, and if you've seen in some of my videos, they do run pretty nice. It's just for some reason, I don't know if there's not just, if it's something with the keep alive that's causing that to happen, but who knows. I'm just gonna be more safe than sorry by just using these, you know, speakers right here that I have. I have a whole bunch of these. I'm probably gonna buy more in the future as well for future projects. But yeah, let's open these models and see what's inside. Alrighty, so I got the smoke unit out. We're obviously not going to need that anymore. It's completely useless. But I'm still going to package it up for the customer and, just keep it. So in case the customer wants it to do anything fun with this or anything like that, it's still usable. I just don't know if it still works, but it's whatever. So it's part of the TCS WOW process. You're not going to need smoke anymore. So it looks like we got most of the stuff that we want. This is where the fun begins, because how this is connected is pretty much similar to the Paragon 3 streamlined K4. So figuring this out is going to be kind of fun. So while I figure that out and get that process done, I'll start figuring out where the headlight is for the plus and minus. And then from there, I'm going to hook that up to their appropriate wiring connections. Alrighty, so this is the tender opened up as well. I'm going to start taking out the board and figure out where the wires go. And once that is over with, I'm going to have a better idea of knowing where motor plus, motor minus, right rail, left rail. And it's pretty much usually the same as every other Broadway. So I'm going to use each wire to figure out where each one goes. And then from there, I'm going to do some tests for the left rail and right rail first, and then continue to do motor minus and motor plus to make sure they work, and then I'm going to use the rest of the wires to do all the lighting features and sounds. Skipping a bit ahead, I'm going to be putting the new speakers in. These are the original speakers. I'll probably be using these as test subjects later on just for fun, to see how well they can handle some of the sound stuff. And I got all sorts of other speakers. But yeah, these are the speakers I'm going to put in there. These are 1 watt 8 ohm speakers. So these should be better in terms of performance and have the least amount of interruptions when I hook up the decoder to these to have sound. Alrighty, so now I got the motor and right rail and left rail connected. So we're going to do the test. I'm going to go forward. There we go. Works in forward, so I don't have to reverse anything. Motor's a little bit loose, so if you see it wobbling, I had to be able to take that out to get the switch out. And I'll screw in the screws back in. So we pretty much passed step 1. So now we're going to do all the lighting and sound effects. We'll put all the shells back on, and we'll call it an end to this DCC install. Hey everybody, I just want to do a quick fun fact. If we can look in here, there's this slightly bluish wire right there. That's the easily visible. That's the 5th wire. And the 5th wire is usually for ground. And if we look over here, it is the 5th wire but flipped on the other side. So this is actually pin 8765, the bluish wire. Let's try and focus again. Don't know why it's not focusing. 4, 3, 2, 1. So this is actually right rail and this is actually left rail. And I figured it out and I just swapped the wires around. So the red now goes to the left side and then left rail goes onto the right side. So that, I don't know why Broadway did this, but this is how it is on the Paragon 2 K4 as far as I know. And then this wire will go all the way, the right side will go to the left side now. So that's how they designed it when going into here and then go all the way up to here. So from here is going to go all the way to the left side. So this is actually left rail and right rail. So I'm not sure if all Paragon 2 locomotives will be like this, but the best way to figure out is to figure out where each wire goes if you can't find one that has slightly different color. But in my case, the 5th wire coming from here is the ground wire, which goes to right here, right over here, and that wire will be used for, obviously, the headlight function for the front of the locomotive. Alrighty, everybody, I just got all the lighting wired up now, and we're going to do a quick test on the lighting functions before I get to the sound functions. The speakers are right back installed in the tender. Decoder is right there on the side, and the keep alive. And we pretty much got everything wired up. I just got to do some heat shrinking in some certain areas just to make sure everything is fine before I heat shrink everything down. I don't want to have to go back and like pretty much snip the wires again and then re-solder them again and shorten the wires. It's not something you really want to do. So when you're doing soldering work, make sure you know your path work is correct with your wiring before, you go to the next step. Otherwise, you're going to waste wire, and you're going to have to, either add more wire if you're too, if you don't have enough wire, you're going to have to add more wire, and that can be a mess inside the locomotive and cause issues. So just, take it slowly. Don't go too fast when you're doing DCC installs and hard wiring. Anywho, let's turn on the lights. All right, we got the lights on. Let's turn on the headlight. Actually, we got the rear light on, so reverse lights on, front headlights on. Oh, we got a firebox light on now. Look at that, that looks beautiful. Now I have 1K ohm resistors for the headlights and the firebox light. The firebox is not connected to the third pin wire that connects to the headlight, and that connects to the power plus for the rear headlight, because Broadway's LEDs are different compared to regular LEDs you can get in like LED kits and whatnot, and with like a whole bunch of LEDs. I'm not 100% sure why they have this issue. It could be because of path of least resistance, most likely. So I keep it parallel so that these guys are on the same, ohm droppage, and, the Broadways that are like, their LEDs are on the same path loop as well. So I don't have this never turning on, but only these turning on. So that's just something I come across with dealing with Broadway models in the past and wanting to do extra lighting functions for them, such as the firebox flicker that I have here. It's not flickering now. I want to make sure everything was correct first, and then I'm going to heat shrink all the heat shrinks so that now that I know that all my wiring's correct with the lighting, and then we'll finish soldering for the speakers, and I'll close everything up, and then I'll program the firebox flicker so that it can actually flicker like a real firebox. Hey everybody, all the lights and sound functions are now in. The shells are back on, and now we can do some test running. Now let's see, we got the headlight. Looks snazzy. Got the firebox flicker down below. Pretty cool stuff, if I say so myself. Now, there's not a lot of areas around here for more light to come out for the firebox flicker, unfortunately. So, kind of like my other K4, the streamlined K4, I just have the LED pointing down. And I think at some point what I'm going to do is I'm going to redo where that firebox flicker is and replace the LED at some point for my streamlined K4 and point down just like this. And I may as well do the same with my 1361 K4 that I have that's from the Platinum line, so they can do the same effect like that. I really like how it turned out, and to be honest, I say it looks pretty good. Unfortunately, it just doesn't go all the way down here, and there's no way to really for me to get to like right here where the firebox grate is. It would be cool to put some LEDs in there, but I think I would have to tear apart more of the model, but I don't think I really want to do that much. Though I think this is good enough the way it is. You don't really need too much to really show, and it pretty much shows where the firebox is anyways with the slanted front end, so it's in a pretty good position in my opinion. We got the rear tail light turning on right there. We got jeweled marker lights which look fantastic. Same with the fronts. They are white jeweled marker lights up front. Really, really nice. I added some of that plastic cement so it keeps that pretty much solid. It's a little bit wiggly, but I can always do some more if I wanted to. I'll probably add a little bit more glue just to make sure it's stable before I put it back in the box and send it back to my client. And without further ado, let's get this locomotive started. Alrighty, so this is the conclusion of the model. I hope you guys enjoyed this Paragon 2 K4s TCS WOW install, and I hope you, the client out there who is most likely watching this video, I hope you enjoyed this pretty rare experience. If anybody else is interested, please reach out to me. I do have an Instagram account. It's Pensy_Joe. So if you are interested out there that you want to see me do more client-based projects, that'll be really cool. This also helps me get models to do TCS WOW installs on. So not only is it a great, business for me to do on the side, but it's also great for me to do models that I have not done yet. So if you got a model out there that's Broadway limited and you want me to do TCS WOW for it, please reach out to me. I'll be happy enough to help you out, or do whatever. I don't know. I just don't have a lot to say. I mean, this is a really good model. The Paragon 2 model has the gray gears, the gunmetal gray gears, and the motor is 5-pole, and it's really solid. I mean, this is a really solid model. Yeah, it's around 10 years old, but, it should still keep going, and it should have many more happy years to come, especially with a brand new decoder with modern electronics and a new lighting function as well. Yes, it will no longer smoke anymore, but let's be honest, these smoke units by Broadway, yes, they can work fairly well on certain models, but on a majority of the models, they just do not really work well in the long run. Some people will disagree. I like to differ. When it comes to these engines, I'd rather have reliability over, fancy features like that O-scale has with the smoke. I can understand O-scale with smoke units and all that stuff. They're bigger. They can do a lot more smoke. They can make more smoke, and it's not as tightly packed as it is in these models. And usually O-scale models have brass or die-cast boilers on them, so you don't have to worry about any melting boiler syndrome or anything like that. So that's one of the reasons why I don't really need smoke. Actually, that's actually the few reasons why I don't really like smoke in HO models. And you don't really need smoke in HO steam, because in real life, a lot of steam engines, when they're running, efficiently, they don't really smoke much, if any at all. Most of it is just heat vapor coming out of the stack. Usually a lot of steam engines, when they start to smoke, is really when they, are working very hard and there's a lot of draft. And another point is when they're throwing sand inside the firebox to clean out the tube flues from all the ash that's stuck inside there. So that's where you see a lot of ash starting to fly out of the smokestacks, is when they're cleaning the smokestack, pretty much the firebox and the flues for the heat to escape through the stack. And that's usually when you see it, is when the engine is in like heavy drafts going up a hill or working really hard to pull a train, or during running maintenance, when the train's running, they just they clean out the firebox and the firebox flues for the locomotive while it runs. They do that where they can put sand inside there to clean it out. It's pretty cool. It's an interesting fact I figured out from like one of the Union Pacific 844 running videos, where they were talking about how they operate the steam engine and whatnot. And it was a really interesting video. I recommend it sometime. I think it was painted in the Greyhound scheme, and it was named 8444 at the time. Don't correct me if I'm wrong, but it's an interesting video. You can still look up on YouTube. They'll tell you a lot about how the steam engine runs. But yeah, this K4s Pacific is ready to go. I have tested it for about 30 minutes forward and reverse now. So it's 30 minutes forward, 30 minutes in reverse, just to keep that clear. And she's ready to go. There was no sound interruptions or anything like that. The model ran as it should. Those new speakers are sounding beautifully inside this locomotive. I will ask the client if there's any more things he would like for me to add, like painting the pilot wheels black. I realized that, maybe I could do a little bit more for him if he wants. Although the pilot wheels will be gloss, so I don't really have any matte black paint. I'll see what he has to say about it, and if he does want it, I'll do it. If he doesn't, it's whatever. But yeah, this TCS WOW install, guys, is another success, and I'm glad to have done it, and you guys are also all here to watch it. This is Pensy Joe signing out again. I'll see you guys in the next video down the road. Bye now.
Hear the lonesome hobo squall, riding through the jungle on the Wabash Cannonball. Well, the eastern states are dandy, so the western people say. St. Louis to Chicago, Rock Island by the way. From the hills of Minnesota, where the rippling waters fall, no chances can be taken on the Wabash Cannonball. Oh, listen to the jingle, the rumble and the roar, as she glides along the woodland to the hill and by the shore. Hear the mighty rush of the engine, hear the lonesome hobo squall, riding through the jungle on the Wabash Cannonball. Now here's to Daddy Claxton, may his name forever stand, and may he be remembered in the courts throughout the land. When his earthly race is over, let the curtains round him fall. We'll carry him home to victory on the Wabash Cannonball. Oh, listen to the jingle, the rumble and the roar, as she glides along the woodland through the